Hello and welcome to my no buy year for 2022. This is going to be my 6-month check-in where I share with you how I'm doing at the halfway point. I'm going to share with you all the numbers and all the different things that I brought into my life, whether it was a gift, a hand-me-down, or something I purchased myself. I'm also going to share with you kind of how many products I've used up, and this is my 3rd year of doing this challenge, so I will also be comparing my numbers from this year to the last 2 years as well, so I get a real sense of how the longer I do this challenge, the more sort of progress is made. And I feel like that's definitely the case. The longer I do it, the more normalized not buying stuff becomes, and even if I do have like a splurge, it's so different to what a splurge was to me like 2 or 3 years ago. So it's just really interesting to see that and to track that for myself. And for me, the main reason of doing this challenge, or one of the main reasons, is that I really want a no buy to kind of be my normalized shopping behavior, that I only purchase a few things within a year and that it's in some way helpful or really essential or is replacing something that is no longer working in my life. And that is really my fundamental goal. I'm not there yet. I'm slowly making my way there, and yeah, this is 3 years in, this is where I'm at, and I'm going to share with you all of that information. Now this video is going to maybe be a little bit different because often I'd be doing monthly check-ins with my challenge. However, this year I just haven't really had the energy or space to film those videos, and I am very sorry about that. However, my work and studies really became quite intensive and needed a lot of my time and energy, and then I also had some pretty full-on stuff go down in my personal life that emotionally just took everything I had to get through it and to process it and accept it and be okay with it and find a way that was constructive and useful to move through it and take what comes, even though it's not easy or comfortable or enjoyable by any stretch of the imagination. So I've just been full up with life things, and YouTube is usually the first thing that goes when I do get stressed or something comes up, because it is just like a fun hobby that I enjoy doing, although it's just not something I have a huge like deep inner commitment to, because it's just, yeah, there's so many other things that come first in my life. But I do really appreciate my channel. I appreciate making these videos when I have that space, and so this is me doing that because I do have some space. And so I'm going to share with you where I'm at. I do want to say thank you to all those lovely people who have commented on my past videos and have just been checking in and wondering where I'm gone and missed my videos and my content. That does really mean a lot, and I do really appreciate that there are people out there that really enjoy these videos, and I really want to make them for you, and I will always try and do my best whenever I have that space. That is my commitment. But if that space isn't there, then that's okay. Just know that there's a lot going on, and I'm not neglecting this because I don't love it. It's just that there's just other things that I have to focus on. So let's get into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is the amount of products I have used up. Now, often I could share with you all those items. However, I have moved countries, so I recycled all the packaging I had and didn't bring it with me because there wasn't really room in my case, and definitely the last thing I'd be bringing in my case would be empty packaging, so I don't have that with me. But I do have the numbers of how many things I have used up from January to June. Now this video is coming relatively late, a couple of months late from this midway point of this challenge, but I thought I would just make it to get myself on the bandwagon and start filming again. So the amount of products I used up was 35. Now compare that to the last year's 2021, I had used up 14 items, and 2020 I had used up 23. So I feel like when it comes to using up products, I have been project planning. That at the beginning of the year I was doing quite a bit of that, so I feel like that contributed to me using up quite a few more products. So that's been really interesting, and also a kind of fun creative way to get excited about the things that I already have and really try and make progress on using and getting as much value out of them. So that could be a big part of it. I've been given quite a few hand-me-down like skincare and makeup items from my friend that I was working through, and some of them were already like half used when she gave them to me. But in general, it's also just like normal usage. Like life has toothpaste and shampoo and just like face cream and different things you go through, and you just naturally use things up. So the next area is gifts. So this midway point of my challenge, I haven't received any gifts. In 2021 I had received 3, and in 2020 I received 8. So for whatever reason, in the last 2 years I was given more things during the midway point of the year, although I never really expect to be given anything or that I would have gifts coming into my life until the end of the year, because November's my birthday and then obviously there's Christmas. So I guess it just is what it is. I don't really know what to say about that information. The next area is like Camp Hill products, or like toiletries from my school. So part of the deal of the program where I was before, where I have been in like 2016 to 2018, I've just left now, which is like a whole life update thing, but we can talk about that another time, is that I would get my school fees covered, a place to live, health insurance, and then also some basic toiletries. So in 2020 I wasn't at that program, so I hadn't received any toiletries from that program. In 2021 I had received 20 products from the program, where it was just like, you know, toiletry things, deodorant, toothpaste, all that kind of stuff. And then this year, the 6-month point, the halfway point, I've received 26, so just more than usual. Well, not usual, but more than the year before. I don't really know what to say about that either. It's usually, sometimes I get a face cream or a hand cream or something that's maybe beyond basic, but in general it's just normal basic toiletries that I go through in a normal style, normal manner. I don't know, whatever you want to say. The next areas, which are more of the areas that focus on the stuff and I guess how much is actually coming into my life in a more clear way, because it's often things that are like clothing and items that aren't usurable, perishable, consumable. I know, the things that aren't like products that you use and eventually it no longer exists because you've used it all up and then you buy a replacement. But that is my hand-me-downs area and the items I've actually purchased. So we'll do hand-me-downs first. So last year I had received a lot of hand-me-downs. I received a lot of makeup and skincare and also quite a few clothes, and that was one of my biggest goals, was to reduce how much I took for free. I love taking hand-me-downs because I don't want to buy new things. I don't want to add a new demand into the universe that creates more stuff and pulls for more resources when there's already so many things that exist. So that's why I'm a huge fan of hand-me-downs, but it does become a habit of maybe taking more than I need because it is free. So in 2020, in the midpoint, I had taken 15 hand-me-downs. In 2021 I had taken 50, so that was a huge increase. So at this point in 2022 I have taken 23 hand-me-downs. So I'm going to talk through what they are, and also I can share with you what they are, the ones that I still have anyway, because they are here with me. So I have some random things first, I guess, and then I have some clothing items. So one of the first hand-me-downs I received this year was this item. Try and guess what it is, and you can write that in the comments if you know what it is. I'll give you like a second, you can guess. But this is a darning mushroom. I received this from this lady who was teaching me how to darn like socks and also jumpers, and I really love it because I have darned quite a few sweaters for myself and then also from friends when there's when you get holes in them. So that has been one hand-me-down item I received that I really liked, so much so that I took it with me when I moved countries again. I then received quite a few like skincare products and yeah, makeup items, or not so much makeup items. I think I received like 3 makeup items, but quite a few skincare from my friend who notoriously gives me makeup and skincare. So one of the things that I still have left is this serum that I am currently using. It is Peach and Lily Glass Skin Refining Serum. So I know I've been enjoying it, but this is something that I still have that was given to me as a hand-me-down. I also received from them Colourpop Super Shock Shadow. She gave me another one, but I actually gave that away when I moved because I only really brought with me the things that I knew I was definitely going to use, and I knew I'd use this colour and maybe not so much the other one. So I have that, and then I have this Glossier cloud paint from her as well. She gave me some, I think she gave me a sample to try, and I said I really liked it, and so then she gave me one that she wasn't using, and then she also gave me some sample perfumes, and these are 2 that I still have. So in total, yeah, there was like 23 hand-me-downs. So there's the darning mushroom I still have. She gave me 3 face creams, but I have slowly used up over the last 6 months. I don't have them with me anymore. I said this eyeshadow where I've given one away. I have the cloud paint still. She gave me a sunscreen that I used up. She gave me 3 serums, so I have 1 left and 2 I've used up. What else was there? There was Also a deodorant that she gave me, and I ended up, I think, giving it away before I moved, so I don't have it with me anymore. And then I have, I think, 9 items of clothing that I got from someone else who was getting rid of things. So these are the items I received. There's this beautiful black silk top. There was some really lovely silk things I received actually from this person, which was amazing. And then this long black silk skirt. I have 3 blue tops that are all very similar style and cut, but different material. So this is one in silk top. I don't know, I kind of like the cut. It like feels comfortable and flattering on my body, or at least I perceive it to be flattering. And then there's this one as well, but this is in more of like a cottony material, and then this is also in a cotton. So they're all, as you can see, like pretty much exactly the same cut, but I have gotten a lot of use out of all 3 of them, which has been great. And then I also have this button down silk top as well, so it's really incredible to just have a few items that are 100% silk. And then I also got this cardigan, which I love so much. I think this is something, or probably the thing I've worn the absolute most out of everything I have received. And then I have 2 more things. One is this like linen blazer, and then the other is this silk black dress with kind of like a flowery floral pattern on it. This is sort of like my fancy dress. When I have to do formal things, I wear this now. So those are all the lovely items of clothing I received that, yeah, I still have. No, I didn't get, there was some clothing that I gave to someone else, but I never really like had it as mine. I don't know, I just received a big box of stuff, and then I took what I wanted from the box of stuff and I gave the other things away. So that means, yeah, in total there's 23 hand-me-downs that I took and kept and received. Now some of them have been used up or have been given away in the process of me moving away from America. I'm now currently in Ireland. I'm going to be moving to another country soon. I'm just here in the interim. But anyway, those are all the hand-me-down things. So I definitely feel like I have improved my relationship to taking free things. There was a lot of stuff that I was offered, and I did really try and be methodical about it and just take the things that I knew would really work for me. In the beginning I just had this big box and I was like, yeah, I'll just take everything, and then I did get more selective about what was going to actually be used and valued and helpful for me, because, you know, if I'm not going to use it, there's no point in it being in my closet when it could be offered to someone else who can also get a lot of use or value out of it. So those are all the hand-me-down things. So I'm happy with that. I feel like now I'm no longer living near my friend, I will probably receive a lot less hand-me-downs because she always gives me so much lovely skincare and makeup things. So I'm gonna have to like purchase those items myself. And the same with the toiletries, I'm no longer gonna have access to like this free school toiletry thing, so I'm going to have to also buy those other things. So I guess I'm gonna have to create a different section for toiletry purchases in my coming months, because yeah, essentially it's just been a different category unto itself. Interesting. Alright, I'll work on that myself. So anyway, the next area is new items I have purchased. So in 2020, at the halfway point, I had purchased 33 items. In 2021 I had purchased 16 items at the halfway point, and in 2022 I have purchased a total of 14 items, and some of those things I don't have with me anymore because I did declutter them. So we will go through those things now. They're all behind me, so let me just bring them around. So there's a few clothing items and then there's a few other items as well. So maybe let's just do the clothing first. I have this dress that I really love and is like flowy and comfortable. I basically love any dress that has a tie at the back because I really like it when it gets pulled in tight around the waist. So this is one thing that I purchased, and this was from like Savers, I think, which is like a charity or like secondhand thrift store in America. There's also this beautiful linen skirt that I also got from Goodwill, I believe, only for a few dollars. So I was pretty excited about that because I looked up the company online, and then this is like a $300 linen skirt, which is insane, but I only got it for a few dollars, which is why I love thrifting so much. There's also this really nice woolen cardigan that I picked up, and then also some fancy pants. I don't know how else to say them, but like they're just sort of more smart evening pants, or like job interview style pants, or I don't know what you call them. They're just like fancy pants. I wouldn't normally wear these on an everyday basis. So those were three. No, there's also one more. This is a cashmere sweater that I also got from a thrift store and for a few dollars, and then I looked up the brand online again and it was like a $200 cashmere sweater, so I was very, very excited with that, and I really love the color. It's just such a nice, beautiful color. So those were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items of clothing. So technically I purchased more than that. So I purchased another dress, but I actually got rid of that when I moved, and I purchased 3 more skirts that I got rid of when I moved. So I have totally purchased 14 items, but I only actually have 10 of them left in my possession. Basically, when I went through kind of a rough patch in my personal life, I turned to my old habit of like shopping and buying things, and I went to the city to get away for a weekend and just take space from everything, and I found myself spending a lot of time in thrift stores and charity shops trying to find things or like hoard and collect stuff. And that's really where I broke my no buy, because it was in like a 1-month period where I really just went into a lot of thrifting. Some of the things I am really glad that I got, and I didn't get them in my like panic of just, I guess, emotionally triggered shopping. Quite a few of them I did, and all of the things that I didn't bring with me were definitely things that I just bought when I was like triggered and upset, and yeah, I just kind of got a little bit out of a hand, because I did have the clothing allowance of 3 items that I could purchase for the year, and I definitely broke it because I've purchased 9 so far and it was only halfway through the year. So I am very much set on clothing, and my goal is to not purchase anything at all. But like I said, there was definitely this triggered time where I was struggling, and I feel like when you're struggling you also sometimes feel like the only thing you can control is maybe your shopping or like what you buy. That feels like something where you have control or ownership, and there's also this idea of trying to reinvent yourself a little bit. I felt like I was so mad and upset and angry at what had happened that I wanted to like be a different person, and I thought buying stuff or buying new clothes that made me try and look a little bit different would be a way of like running away from that. Or like if I change my outer appearance, then that will change how I feel inwardly, and I won't feel as connected to the trauma and all the like horrible bad things that have gone down. I'll be a different person because I'll look differently, and obviously logically none of that makes sense, but that's just where I was at the time. And I'm not mad about it, you know? It's still an improvement from the year before. My goal in this challenge is to not be perfect. It's to try and get to a certain new relationship to normal. And I guess that's also something for me that's quite endearing, is that even though I did have kind of like a blowout or like coming off the rails moment, it wasn't so bad because my relationship to shopping has been reduced so much that even when I do like get a bit out of hand and I spend too much or I buy too many things, it's like 3 extra skirts for a whole year rather than like, you know, 20-30 items of clothing. So it is what it is, and I don't know, I did what I was doing at the time because I felt terrible, and I hope that as I continue to improve that, it will not be my coping mechanism, but it still does exist inside of me, and I have to acknowledge that, and I have to work with that yeah, shopping is something that we can or do turn to when we're just not happy with where we're at, like in ourselves, in our own emotional states, or what's happening to us from the outside that is then triggering different things in us. So those were the clothing things, and that's definitely where I fell off the bandwagon. I also purchased a random pair of shoes that I found in Goodwill that I left with me in the left in the States when I moved because I just didn't like them enough to bring them. And I also decluttered a bunch of other random things when I moved, because you have to fit everything into 2 suitcases. So there was a process of getting rid of quite a few things. Now the other items I purchased, one item is this, which is my summer sun hat, and I have gotten a lot of use out of it. I traveled with it when I had my vacation, and yeah, I just used it all the time in the summer, so that was a really valuable purchase. I believe that was like $40. It's probably the most expensive thing I bought throughout the whole year, but definitely something that was needed. I don't regret this at all. Another thing I purchased was some travel tarot cards, because I kind of like doing this every now and again, and especially when I'm going through a hard time, it's like that's when I definitely turn to, I guess, forces or things outside of me that can feel like there's something bigger to trust in, or I don't know, just having those cards and reading what it says definitely helps me to feel a bit more like I'm on track, or that this is kind of what I'm going through. It's just interesting when you pull a card and it really does connect to like maybe where you're at, and whether or not that's something other people believe in, it's something that makes me feel a little bit like, okay, I can bear maybe what is happening or where I'm at or where I'm moving to. Like it all makes sense in a bigger picture sort of way. So I got those and I've used them a lot since buying them. And then the other two items that I purchased, one was a notebook. When I went to the city to get away after a really hard time, I wanted to journal where I was at and what was happening, so I picked this up from Muji for a few dollars, and it was definitely very valuable. I sat in Central Park, I journaled a lot, and I looked at my life and patterns that I have, relationships to people, and really tried to understand it better. And I feel like journaling and therapy and all those things are so valuable. So this is something that was, yeah, definitely worth the purchase. And then last but least, that is not something that was necessary to buy at all, was this little handbag. I don't know, I just saw it in a thrift shop. I loved it instantly. I always am looking for a handbag, but my problem is that they're always too small or they're too big. And this one is perfect because it's the right size that I can like fit a book into it. And I feel like that to me is like the main criteria when it comes to a bag. Like, can I fit a book into it? And is it a right size that I could also fit a water bottle if I need to, but like not too big that I might as well just take my like tote bag or my backpack with me. So I found this, and this definitely broke my no buy, but it's brought me a lot of joy, and I think I'm okay with the fact that it did. So yeah, that is kind of where I'm at. 6 months in, I have broken my no buy here and there for sure, but I've also done really well. Like, I feel like you can both be sort of failing but also succeeding all in one simultaneous picture, because ultimately, you know, whether you buy something or you don't buy something, I think that's not really the point. It's about how you understand why you're participating in that behavior. And if you're like, well, I'm just emotionally out of it and F it, I'm just going to buy something because I want to feel better, and I know that this is not a conscious or useful way to handle this situation, but I'm participating in it anyway. If there's a sort of dialogue with it, I feel like that does change things in some way, and that there is a learning process behind it. So I don't know, I know that I've made purchases that definitely were mistakes, because obviously I don't even have those items anymore, because, you know, I didn't even think they were worth bringing when I moved overseas. I kept so many of my other older clothes than the new things I'd purchased, and so that for sure tells me like, oh, that was just me freaking out in the moment or buying something for the sake of the shopping experience. Overall, I'm really happy with the progress I have made. So yeah, in total I purchased 14 items. I have 10 of them here left with me that I've shared with you, and yeah, we'll see what happens for the rest of the year. I'm hoping that, yeah, I really don't purchase any more things, or that it's very few. I feel like right now I have everything I need, and every time I move countries I realize how annoying it is to have stuff, and it always does encourage me to like stop buying, because I have way more than I need and it is excessive and unnecessary, and there's so many other things that I want to fill my life with, and they're not things, actually, that's not the right word. So many experiences or interactions or studies or content that I want to engage with rather than buying stuff and wasting my money and time and energy on the stuff. So let's talk about the finances now. So from January to June, I was continuing to do my study/volunteer program where I have all my basic needs covered, and then I receive a stipend check each month of around $244. Although before April I think it was $231. They increased it with inflation during the new financial year. So that means from January to June I received a total of $2,175. I spent a total of $928.88, so that gives me a grand savings of $1,246.12. So that's everything I was able to save, which is also really awesome considering I have such a small amount of income coming in. So my goal is to always save that so that I can have a vacation, or I can have a little bit left over to do something if I really wanted to. So the breakdown of everything I spent was I ate out and I spent $481.63, which is my biggest expense, and that's just on my one day off a week. I often would really love to go get a meal with a friend, or yeah, just enjoy some different like cuisine. I really love like Japanese food and like Vietnamese food and things like that, so it was always a treat or something I love to do on my time off, was to eat out. And then for experiences, I spent a total of $283.25. Some of that was like movie tickets. I went to like an event or something. I also had some transport. I would catch the train to New York City. So there's like a few different things like that that added up in the experiences category. And then on things, so all the items you've seen plus the few others that I've already decluttered, I spent a total of $145. So the hat was like $40, and then the bag was I think $9. I think this was the second most expensive thing at like $20, and then everything else was a few dollars from Goodwill. This was like a $2 notebook. So all pretty like cheap things that I purchased during the time, but you know, every little bit adds up. And then I spent a total of $19 on gifts during the first half of the year. So that is my full breakdown of my finances and everything that I have purchased, everything I've received and kept in terms of hand-me-downs. And yeah, I haven't been consistently like uploading my check-ins each month, but I do always try and stick to this challenge, or I always at least do my monthly tallies for myself. So I always write down exactly everything that I'm spending my money on, and then working out which category I spend it in. And then yeah, when it was really the end of June, I did sit down and do my 6-month spread, which is what I have here and what I've been reading off, but I just didn't have a chance to film the video. So I'm hoping to catch up with my sort of monthly check-ins. I think what I will do is do August, July and August together, because those were my last 2 months in the States, and that was also my vacation where I spent a lot of money on my vacation, but we will get to that. And then I will be jumping into a different currency. So I'm currently in euros. I was in England, so I did pounds, and then I'm doing euros, and then I'm going to be doing Swiss francs. So it's going to be confusing. I'm going to do my best to try and keep track of it, and hopefully I have the time and the space to keep filming these videos. If you are still watching, thank you so much. If you are on your no buy low buy, I'd love to hear where you're at. I know it has been such a long time, but yeah, if you're interested in sharing with me in the comments below, I'd really appreciate it. I love this community of people that are interested in changing their own behaviors to improve and better their life in some way, and just to have healthy relationships to consumerism, especially in this day and age. I feel like is such an important task or like challenge or thing for us to take on, and take ownership when we can, and when we have the space and the mental capacity to think about those extra things that maybe normally we wouldn't have the time or energy to do. So anyway, I hope you found this interesting in some way, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!